Hey friends, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And today we're going to look at some traditions that have been brought over to America. And the first one is the gingerbread house. Now I made my own gingerbread house and I still have a little child left in me, and we know it's my shed and it doesn't have icing on it, but I still had fun doing it, and I wanted to show you what I did. So over here is my little hot chocolate bar, and we do serve hot chocolate on the weekends. Lights, I have my candies, my lollipops, I have candy canes, and then the front decorated, and I also have my little fire going with my gingerbread cookies. So the gingerbread house, actually in the 1600s in Western Europe, they used to put little ginger chips in meats and biscuits and flour and baked goods. Well, they were for to preserve them. Well, they found that it actually tasted really good in these little biscuits, so they started putting the ginger chips in as a cookie. Well, the cookies were called fairings at that time because the biscuit cookies went to different fairs and they were displayed and they were sold. So the fairings each year became more and more elaborate with icing and colored like little chips of candies. And then they started making it into the gingerbread house cookie, hence the gingerbread house. Now, let's move on to mistletoe, because mistletoe is kind of a funny little plant and it has a strange little story. And I figured, I'd like to know why I have to smooch someone or it's expected for me to kiss under a mistletoe. Well, the mistletoe, this little plant, actually is a little dropping from a bird. They drop these little seedlings onto a branch of a tree. And that tree is usually a willow or an apple tree or usually an oak tree. So these little droppings, they hold on to that branch and they make that their new home. And they use the water and the nutrients of that tree, and they grow into these little bunches. Well, the Celtic Druids felt that this plant had magical, mystical powers, fertility, love, strength. And the reason why, in the dead of the winter, these plants stayed green and they had the white little berries, which meant that they could thrive even in the coldest of winters. So that is how the mistletoe started to take off. But in the 1700s, the mistletoe was in a musical over in Europe, and they were smooching. Well, it really took off in 1843 in the first edition of A Christmas Carol. The first edition of the book, it was illustrated in Mr. Fezziwig's ball, two people smooching under the mistletoe. So in London, that's when the kissing started under the mistletoe. Very interesting, right? Well, friends, let's take a walk over to my little fire because it's getting a little cold, and I wanted to show you just a little bit more of my little shed gingerbread house. And over here, we have our little pillows, we have candy cane, and we have a nice warm fire. Friends, I hope you learned something, I hope you're motivated, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and holiday. And I love ya.